आचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की अहिंसे कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की गंगा मैया यमुना मैया की भक्तिदेव तुलसी महारानी की श्री गौरनिताय की श्री राधा वल्लभ की श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की नाम संकीर्तन की श्रीमद् कथा श्रीमद् भागवतम की गौर प्रेमानंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके। Continue our reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22, chapter entitled Prithu Maharaj's Meeting with the Kumaras, text number 53. Right?
Yes.
Evam adhyatma yogena karmani anusamacharan putran utpadayam asa Pancharisi atma samantam Pancharisi atma sammatan Evam adhyatma yogena karmani anusamacharan putran utpadayan asa Pancharisi atma sammatan Evam adhyatma yogena karmani anusamacharan putran utpadayam nasa bhakti yoga.
By the means of bhakti yoga.
Karmani.
Karmani.
Activities.
Activities.
Anu.
Anu.
Always.
Always.
Samacharan.
Samacharan.
Executing.
Executing.
Putran.
Putran.
Sons.
Sons.
Utpadayam.
Utpadayam.
Utpadayam asa.
Utpadayam asa.
Begotten.
Begotten.
Pancha.
Pancha.
5.
5.
Archishi.
Archishi.
In his wife Archi.
In his wife Archi.
Atma.
Atma.
Om.
Om.
Sammatan.
Sammatan.
According to his desire.
According to his desire.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Being situated in the liberated position of devotional service, Prithu Maharaj not only performed all fruitive activities, but also begot 5 sons by his wife Archi. Indeed, all his sons were begotten according to his own desire. Translation responsibly. Being situated in the liberated position,
being situated in the liberated position
of devotional service, Prithu Maharaj not only performed all fruitive activities, but also begot 5 sons by his wife Archi. Indeed, all his sons were begotten according to his own desire. Purport. As a householder, Prithu Maharaj had 5 sons by his wife Archi. And all these sons were begotten as he desired them. They were not born whimsically or by accident. How one can begot children according to one's own desire is practically unknown in this age of Kali Yuga. In this regard, the secret of success depends on the parents' acceptance of various purificatory methods known as samskaras. The first samskara, the Garbhadhan samskara or child begetting samskara, is compulsory, especially for the higher castes, the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, sex life which is not against the religious principles is Krishna himself. And according to religious principles, when one wants to beget a child, he must perform a Garbhadhana samskara before having sex. The mental state of a father and a mother before sex will certainly affect the mentality of a child to be begotten. A child who is begotten out of lust may not turn out as the parents desire. As stated in Shastra, Yatha Yonir Yatha Bijam. Yatha Yoni indicates the mother, and Yatha Bijam indicates the father. If mental state of the parent is prepared before they have sex, the child which they will begot will certainly reflect their mental condition. It is therefore understood by the words of Atma Sammatan that both Prithu Maharaj and Archi underwent Garbhadhan samskar purificatory process before begetting children. And thus they begot all their sons according to their desire and purified mental state. Prithu Maharaj did not beget children out of lust, nor was he attracted to his wife for sense gratificatory purpose. He begot the children as grihastha for a future administration of his government all over the Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Padakamanam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sarvajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sri Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhambitam Sa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Vishnu Buddha Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchani Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpataru Vishcha Kripa Sindhu Vayavicha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vaishnavi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Individual, how they behave, how they act. So there are many factors. In the instance of conception of which took place between Kashyapa and Diti, what was the factor that was not very conducive? Does anyone know? Time, yes. So that was the time. So she approached Kashyapa Muni to have a child, or to beget a child. It was evening or the Sandhya time, which is not conducive to have a conception. As a result, what do we have? Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu was born. So it's in that whole instance, Kashyapa Muni does give a reason, so you should not have this. But see, because she forced, or she almost played a emotionally, so they had the conception. So as a result, we had Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, who had a very high demoniac qualities. Of course, there is a whole pastime, there is a whole reason behind what they have. But it also indicates that the time is also plays a role as the conception. Whereas in the opposite, where Kashyapa and Aditi also had a child who was Vamanadev. But before having a Vamanadev, Aditi performs this is in the 8th canto, the Aditi performs a Payovrata austerity, which is the Payovrata austerity which was actually given, instructed by Brahma to Marichi, and Marichi had passed on to Kashyapa, who is Kashyapa is the son of Marichi. And this process was given to follow to Aditi. This was the process was followed for about 100 days. Is that right? The 100 days the Payovrata was followed, and then they had as a result we had Vamanadev. The Supreme Personality God Himself appeared as a son. And we have that is when we have perform a good samskara, we attract a great soul. What about in the instance of Prahlad Maharaj? Whereas Hiranyakashipu was a demonic personality. How did the Prahlad Maharaj come into place? He was a great child, he was a great devotee. It is said, I think it was Puranically, it says that when Hiranyakashipu went to do a tapasya to get power, by arrangement of providence, that the two parrots, they came while he was performing a austerity in the forest. These parrots would chant the name of Narayan. Of course, he was doing tapasya not to please Narayan, but it was constant. These parrots was just repeating the name of Narayan, 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 Narayan. He was just, instead of meditating on the Brahma to get the power, but he was just hearing this holy name. To the point he got so upset, he said, I'm not going to meditate. So he came at home, and they had the conception with his wife, Kayadu. Even at the time of conception, that the holy name was constantly coming, that Narayan's holy name. And then Prahlad Maharaj was born. Of course, there is also a pastime behind the Prahlad Maharaj being born in the family of demon. But the point is that the mentality of the parents or at the time of conception makes a difference. Similarly, we also while Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb, he also heard the instructions of Narada Muni. Yeah. It's just not the conception, but even after the conception, the child is in the womb, it has an impression, it has the samskaras. How mother, the parents are in the what consciousness, what the state of consciousness, it plays the role when the child is in the womb. Prahlad Maharaj received the instruction in the womb. He was listening to all the instructions by Narada Muni. He was able to, when he came out as a 5 years old child, he was able to repeat those instructions to his friends. And similarly, we have another instance of Abhimanyu, also hearing in the womb. And I think when the Arjuna was narrating the Chakravyuha, how to break Chakravyuha, how to break in Chakravyuha, there was just a military science. He was telling his wife Uttara. Uttara was pregnant, and Abhimanyu was listening. When he explained he was explaining how to break into a Chakravyuha in the formation of in the battle. So when he was explaining how to get out of the mother fell asleep. As a result, the child also didn't hear, they didn't get the instruction. So the point is, even you are in a womb, when the child is in the womb, has developed, he can hear, he can understand. We hear in the third canto, Prabhupada explaining how the living entity is growing, and I think after 6 or 7 months, the person is already fully developed. He is able to hear, he is able to understand the correct how the mother is what's sound being heard. So another point Srila Prabhupada also makes, that yes, this act of of begetting a child is not, it's a religious act. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, text 11, Prabhupada also quote that same thing. Balam balvatam chaham kama raga vivarjitam dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarsava. Krishna says, I am the strength of all strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am the sex life which is not contrary to religious principle. So Krishna is saying that yes, this is a clear part of the creation. Sex life is there. But the whole principle is not contrary to religious principle. It's to be done. Now, as Prabhupada puts a lot of emphasis on the samskara, I thought I was just going through the main prominent samskara that are mentioned by Gopal Bhatta Goswami in Satkriya Stana Dipika. There are about 16 or 18 samskara that the purificatory process is followed to develop a great child, the development of the child for becoming a great citizen or devotee ultimately of Krishna. So out of those samskaras, its first is Garbhadhana samskara, as we discussed how important it is. The Garbhadhana samskara plays a role to in begetting or attracting a great soul. In Garuda Purana, Lord Vishnu explains to Garuda, there is a whole detail of when the conception should take place to have a good child. For instance, after the 8th day of the ladies, the menstrual period, it should be conception should be after the 8th day of it's good, better. If somebody, if they wish to have a male child, it is recommended to have and the even day of after the menstrual period. If it's in the, of course, other factors also come into counter, but this whole description is given by Lord Vishnu to Garuda, how the conception can be, it is taking place. While child is in the womb, there are 3 samskaras performed. One is, that's Garbhadhana samskara, and of course that's for attracting. There's 2 more samskaras performed, that is called a Pumsavam samskara, which is to for the mental development as well as the purification of the child in the womb. It's called Pumsavan samskara. This is performed at 3rd month of pregnancy. And another one is called Simantanayana samskara, which is I think it's also commonly known as baby shower, they call it. That is done at the month between 4, 6 or 8 months of child being in the womb. Again, this is to prevent a premature abortion or the miscarriage, and also meant the development of the health of the child, mental health, and also the well-being of a mother. During the pregnancy, mother, the mental of a mother has to be a good, positive. This is one of the samskara that is to enhance that. Then after that is Jata Karma Samskara. When child is born, there is another purificatory process of samskara performed, which is for cutting of the navel. There is a whole performance and if somebody wants to get the detail how it's done, it is all mentioned in detail by Gopal Bhatta Goswami in Sakriya Saratipika. This whole process there are well in detail. So we have Jata, Karma, Samskar. That is when the child is born, that purificatory process is followed. Then on the 10th or 12th day, there is Namkarana Samskar. Child is given a name. This whole process is followed to give a child a name. Then there is Niskramana Samskara, which is after the name is given, child is taken for the first time outside of the house. The first time the child should be taken to temple to get the blessings of deities, Ishtadev, and the Guru and so on and so forth. So this is the first time when the child is gone, there's another samskara is performed. Then when the child is about 6 to 8 months, Annaprasana, that is the first grain is offered to a child, which until 6 months he is breastfed and the child is able to survive. Now he has to come, he's now developed, his system is developed, now he's given a grains and fruits and other stuff. So first time when that is given to very first time, there is also a process followed. Then there is a Karna Veda. After it says piercing of the ear. It's just another ear. There is also, according to Ayurveda, it is also said that if the ears is pierced, it prevents a person from some illness or disease. It has some nerve system that when it's pierced, that also keeps the child healthy. Specifically, I think it is on the hernia or some cancer also. It says that prevents by piercing that specific nerve system. So that is done. It's Karnaveda Samskara. This is done between 6 to 16 months of birth, from the birth of the child. Then there is a Chura Karma Samskara, which is hair cutting ceremony. So child when he's born with the when he was in the womb, that hair is considered impure. So around 6 months to a year time, that the hair is removed because that is come from the womb that was still impure. That is completely removed, and there is a purificatory process for that as well. So that's and there is after that is a Upanayana or Yagyo Pavita. The child is given perform a kind of initiation ceremony to give a Brahman thread if he's born there. That time also same time it's also Vidya Arama Samskara is also performed. So that means the child is around 6 to 8 months. Years old. And this Upanayan and Vidya Arama Samskara is performed. Then at that time the child, the thread is given, and in the Vedic time they go to the Gurukula. So from that time onwards they are starting their education. So the Upanayan Samskar and Vidya Arama Samskar that takes place during that time. Then the child is going to the Gurukula or the ashram of a guru, and he gets educated. When education is completed, during the education it is said that generally the students, they keep their long hair, beard, everything is not shaven. So that once they're about to graduate, there's a samskara called Kesanta, which is the cutting of the hair that is now matted, grown while they were being educated in the Gurukul system. So that ceremony is called Kesanta Samskara. That is around when the child is about 16 years old. Then there is a graduation ceremony which is called Samavartana Samskara. That takes place when the now child is gone, had been taken, education is being completed, and there is a purificatory or samskara performed for the graduation of the child. That takes place just before when he completes the education. And followed by, if the child decides to get married, there will be a next samskara is called Vivaha Samskara, which is the marriage, the marriage takes place. So even Vivaha, there are different types of Vivaha as mentioned. Also, I was just looking into what the Vivaha. There is a Brahmai Vivaha, there is Daiva Vivaha, there is Asha Vivaha, there is Prajapatya Vivaha, and there is Rakshasa Vivaha, Aisurik Vivaha, Gandharva Vivaha, and Rakshasa Vivaha, and Pichasa Vivaha. There is a different type of Vivaha. So the first one, Brahma Vivaha, is generally it is arranged according to the parents, their caste, astrological, everything is calculated, and then that marriage takes place. And there is also a Asvivaha, it's called Arsa Vivaha, the bride and bridegroom. So first Vivaha is just everybody gets together, it's all arranged according to the astrology, everything. So that's called first class Vivaha. Other type of Vivaha is also like the bride and bridegroom get together and say, okay, let's get married. It's not against, they're against they're not following it according to parents and everything, so they decide to get married. It's also one type of marriage. And there's another one is called a Prajapatya, which is the if the parents don't agree, then they have their relatives perform this ceremony for them to get married. There is a which is Asurik Vivaha, which is also this kind of love marriage. It's nothing to do with the parents, nothing to do with the relatives. We just get married. And that's Asurik. There's a Gandharva Vivaha. Gandharva Vivaha is the performed by kidnapping. So you kidnap the bride is getting married in Swayamvara, then they get kidnapped. They get married. That is called Gandharva Vivaha. And Rakshasa Vivaha or Ishata Vivaha, they have a relationship with the girl by force and kidnap her, and just by having by force. Not being, like there's no agreement. So there's, of course, all this. I was just looking into what different types of the marriages takes place. They all have a process, beautiful process to follow. And when a person now has get married, he has children, he has lived according to Grihastha Ashram, now he's moving into Vanaprastha Ashram. It's another samskara. for that going into Vanaprastha ashram, which is retirement. And there is also the sannyasa samskara, taking a sannyas is a samskara. Then finally, there is a andeshti. That is, when the person dies, there is a whole samskara is followed, a process is followed. So there's a whole science how the persons in this process, the process, if followed properly, it results in having a great citizens, a devotee. Of course, these all are followed within the realm of Varnashram Dharma. As a devotee, yes, we also follow, of course. In the normal Vedic karma kandik, these processes are followed and in line with the worship of demigods. Whereas in Vaishnava Siddhanta, it is all worshipping of Narayan, Vishnu or Krishna. In the Kriya Dipika, the Gopal Bhatta Goswami establishes in the very beginning, before when he gives all the samskaras, he established why it is important to, or why we should, and as a Vaishnavas, be worshipping Lord Krishna or Narayan. So, as a Vaishnavas, we do the similar process, we follow the similar process, but Krishna is in center. The holy name is in center. I think in the beginning, Srila Prabhupada was when what did he recommend for the devotees to do is to chant the holy name. He chants 50 rounds before you have a conception. That was Prabhupada's suggestion. So the point is that the parents' mentality comes into a child. So that the mentality or the consciousness has to be purified before we have a child. That's the whole problem. That's the gist of how Prabhupada is putting it, giving emphasis on the samskara or purification process. And we as Maharaj Prithu had followed that principle. So let's just stop here. Any questions or comments and corrections? Yes, bro.
How does the marriage according to Rakshasa side help in producing good citizens?
The Rakshasa and Pishacha have relationship with the girl by force. To kidnap her. So basically it's no agreement, it's just somebody just by force. I like her and he just has enough power, just go out there and just kidnap her and then just by force, basically. Of course, as a result of that kind of marriage, it's not going to be a very positive. It's more of a lust than the desire.
Why is it part of the purification?
It's not a samskara. Just as I was looking at the Vivaha samskara, which is the marriage ceremony, I also just saw some of what are the different types of marriages.
Oh.
So in different types, the process followed are not to the greatest, or somewhat not even followed at all. It's just by force. Practices which they just get together, they get married, and there's nothing followed. Some processes that they just by boys and girls they get together. There's no arrangement as such. They just go to some temple and then just get married. Or they even you could see in some of the movies they put the gun and the priest has said, now you chant the mantra and you get married. So out of that, this is what's going to happen. We probably can, make something. So yeah, it's a science. It's a great science. Yeah, of course. Nowadays, we just need to educate and yes, Prabhu.
So therefore, how Rukmini Devi was married to Lord Krishna?
How Mother Rukmini was married to Lord Krishna. That was, I mean, in Mother Rukmini is what is it? Eternal consort of Krishna. Yeah. And they come here, they do a certain pastime, of course. Yes, the whole pastime that she wanted to get married to Krishna, and she sends Brahmana over. She sends a letter to Lord Krishna, please come and get me. I'm being forced to marry Shishupal, which I don't want. And then Lord Krishna, comes, and then what does he do? He just, once he comes to worship the baby, and Lord Krishna comes in chariot and kidnaps her. That's how Krishna and Rukmini got married. That's one of the marriages. Yes, you can. This one.
I remember reading with Dada's Rakshas Vivaha.
Sorry?
I remember reading in Krishna book that that's actually Rakshas Vivaha itself.
Yeah. Different varna has got a different ways of getting married. Yes, Brahmanical marriage will be more of a following complete principles and everything. In Kshatriya they have more of chivalry kind of things. You go to Swayamvara, you defeat the princes, different other princes. Then if you win the battle, then you take the bride. So that's like more in the Kshatriya realm, and different types of marriages, yes.
It is said in the purport as well that if you follow the process, you beget like the sons or children that are according to the parents' desire.
Mm-hmm.
So is there like what is the definition of parents' desire? Because that is a very vague term. In terms of Hiranyakashipu, he definitely didn't want someone who is a devotee of the Lord, right?
Mm. So the question is how does it, in the purport, Prabhupada mentions that according to the consciousness or the mental consciousness at the time of conception of parents, that determines somewhat the child which is coming in the womb, right? And in case of Prahlad Maharaj, that may not be the case. Yes, the consciousness of a parents at the time of conception has a greater role in bringing the pious soul, as according to samskaras and this thing. There is whole mantra, this whole process. Even just briefly reading on the Garuda Purana section of where Lord Vishnu gives this to description. One of the description is that they're not meditating on the act itself. They're meditating on the Lord, praying that we're going to this process of creation of the conception is part of the creation. Now we're going to take a role in this act, but they are praying to Vishnu or Narayan. And one of the things they was meant to do is to, it's not they have the intercourse or sex, and they said to do that, in order to make a place is mixed with the cow dung and the mud is mixed, and then they smear on the ground, and then the place is purified, and then the conception takes place, and then very austere condition. It's not just the enjoyment kind of thing. The whole thing is to now we're taking this responsibility as begetting a citizen or a child in the world. That should be your devotee. That should be a good citizen. and the whole act is all getting the mercy of praying to the Lord is done in that way. So having that pure consciousness does have an effect. That's what Prabhupada mentioned, as I understand.
As you mentioned that how Hiranyakashipu got Prahlad Maharaj, a pure devotee of the Lord, then why did Prahlad Maharaj get a demoniac son?
So the question is, Hiranyakashipu had Prahlad Maharaj, who became pure devotee, and then how come Prahlad Maharaj had his son demoniac? Is that the question? Do you know who Prahlad Maharaj's son is? Virochan. Yeah. Virochan was not, as I understand, was not as demoniac as Hiranyakashipu. Now, being born in the family of a demon, there is some aspect of demonic nature will come. But Virochan was not as demoniac as Hiranyakashipu, as I understand. I'm to be corrected. So yeah, of course, there's multiple factors that he's in the family of demon, born in the family of demon, and his karma also plays a role, how the person is being born. And we can see down in the track who's the son of Virochan, Bali Maharaj. Yeah, he's also, you could say, was a nice person. Yeah. Any other? Yes, Krishna.
You said that Kumaras were instructing Maharaj Prithu. Maharaj Prithu was the Shaktadarsa incarnation of the Lord. Why did the Kumaras have to instruct him?
So, why did Kumaras instruct Prithu Maharaj? Because Prithu Maharaj was Shaktadarsa. The question is, why Kumara had to instruct Maharaj Prithu? Maharaj Prithu was Shaktadarsa avatar himself. Why does he require an instruction? Is that the question? Okay. Multiple reasons. Yes, Prithu Maharaj was Shaktadarsa avatar. He himself knew all the knowledge. But to receive a knowledge, or you must have a receive from authority, a spiritual master. So Kumaras played the role of a spiritual master, instructing Maharaj Prithu. Maharaj Prithu to teach us a lesson how we should be accepting a spiritual master and receive the instruction from them. That's why the Kumaras came and instructed them. The instruction of Prithu Maharaj was similar to what he was giving to his citizen before. And when Kumaras came in, immediately he turned and he said, my dear Kumaras, please instruct me. What is the goal of life? How do I perform my duty? That is the etiquette. And Maharaj Prithu is following that etiquette to set us example. We should receive instruction from the saintly persons, spiritual masters, gurus. Yeah? That makes sense? Okay, so we'll end here. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai.